It's always June in this Dexcom because my blood sugars is gay. Woo! All right. Hi, everybody. It is I, the man of STEELBOOK, Tard Kent. And as your close personal friend, the person who cares about you more than anyone on this planet, right? Your own parents don't care about you as much. Your own parents don't even like you. But me, I love you. But because I am your close personal friend, I'm here to tell you about all of the things that Shout/Scream Factory wants to sell you in the month of December. And I know I'm late as fuck, but what can I tell you? I get busy. What do you want from me? First things first, Shout Factory wants you to buy Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 on Blu-ray. It's getting a Blu-ray release. I don't believe it's getting a 4K release, but honestly, I don't care enough to really look into it anymore right now. I have no idea if these movies are any good or not. I haven't seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one. I got no real plans to. It feels too much like a gimmick. It feels like a novelty because Winnie the Pooh used to be this copyrighted character owned by Disney, and then the character moves into the public domain, and now we can do all this fucked up shit with Winnie the Pooh, right? Like we can make Winnie the Pooh official Winnie the Pooh porns where he's like butt fucking Christopher Robin and shit like that. We can do it now because it's legal. Public domain is public domain. We can fuck Winnie the Pooh up as much as we want. He could be a sadistic killer. He could be a fucking whatever. He could be in a homosexual relationship with Christopher Robin, and we could actually film two gay dudes having butt sex and call it Lube and Honey. I don't know, man. I'm spitballing. Anyway, Lube and Honey. That sounds nice. Blood and Honey. Lube and Honey. Honey, not a good lube. Too sticky. Anyway, it's just stupid. Winnie the Pooh murdering people. I got as much interest in seeing Winnie the Pooh murder people as I do to watch Winnie the Pooh buttfuck Christopher Robin. And I might actually rather watch Winnie the Pooh buttfuck Christopher Robin. Might not be bad. They do know my weakness, though, because they put out a Steelbook as well. So I always feel like they take a movie that I couldn't give two shits about and they put it in the Steelbook. And it's always a little bit like, I feel like they got the box propped up. You know what I mean? They got a little Steelbook under it, hoping that I'll like go under and they can just like catch me. Anyway, they're not going to get me with Blood and Honey, motherfuckers. The Dead Don't Hurt is also coming to Blu-ray and DVD. I'm glad to see somebody besides Criterion Collection has in 2024 still got that commitment to putting out movies for poor people on formats for poor people. 720p. They're like, it's like somebody told Shout/Scream Factory that it's like retro again. Like, oh, people buying DVDs again. I've bought probably at least a half a dozen DVDs this year so far. The reason being the film is locked to DVD. There's no Blu-ray or 4K release. So honestly, it's a perfectly rational move, in my opinion, to go buy an $8 DVD when the film is not available on any other higher resolution format. But, when Blu-ray is a thing and the Blu-ray release of a film is a thing, I don't see why you would buy it on DVD, but that's just me. This movie, The Dead Don't Hurt, which seems kind of obvious, right? Like you're not feeling anything at that point, including pain or hurt. Stars Viggo Mortensen. It was written by Viggo Mortensen and directed by Viggo Mortensen. I'm actually kind of wondering how in the fuck am I just now hearing about this movie? It sounds like it even got a US theatrical release in May of this year, just earlier this year, a few months ago. It just makes me think theaters are so fucked when I'm not even hearing about Viggo Mortensen starring in directed films that are like in theaters right now. Like I'm just like, well, they're just not releasing anything to theaters anymore, are they? That's how fucked theaters are. Anyway, it's a Western. It's by the acclaimed star and director Viggo Mortensen. So, if you like Westerns, I like Westerns pretty well. So I think, definitely check this one out. The Whitest Kids You Know is coming to DVD. Again, commitment to DVD. Excellent, guys. Poor people love Shout Factory. I swear to God, I'm not going to rant about this one, okay? I'm not really that passionate about The Whitest Kids You Know. I'm just not. Apparently, this DVD release is due to some contractual loophole that Shout Factory is exploiting. According to them, apparently, this set would not have otherwise been released. They wouldn't be putting this out on physical media at all. But people on the internet are complaining in a butthurt fashion because they assume that this set will be edited. Oof, edited. Man, I gotta get sober, guys. I gotta go to fucking Narcotics Anonymous. Whew, I am a mush mouth right now. I've been huffing some glue, y'all. Excellent glue. You can't even get real drugs in this town, Lane. So the Shout streaming service is missing some of the sketches and has some edited episodes. God damn it. Has some episodes that have been edited. And so people assume this set is going to be as well. I don't know if that assumption is founded, but I'm not going to buy it to find out. So I don't give a fuck. Also, I kind of wish that this was on Blu-ray, even if it was like standard definition, still 720p on Blu-ray, because like who wants 35 fucking discs? Who wants an entire TV series on DVD? Because you're going to have 47 fucking discs in a giant fucking thing. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So put it on Blu-ray. Although apparently the DVD thing was like it's part of the contract, it's part of the loophole that they exploited. So whatever. I don't want a fuck ton of discs, so I'm not buying it. Ted's coming to 4K. Not for $36, I won't, you greedy fucking dickwads. Suck my dick from the back, Shout Factory. $36 for one fucking movie. I think that one at least comes with a slipcover. The Holdovers is coming to 4K. This is a little bit more compelling in my humble opinion. I should not have slapped the microphone. I apologize. That was a unprecedented lapse in my usually very high fucking professionalism. The Holdovers is a recent release. It came out theatrically about a year ago. It got kind of a little bit of a Blu-ray release in January of this year, 24. So, got released. It got released to Blu-ray. A lot of people scratching their heads like, how come this didn't get a 4K? We had to wait a little bit, but here's the 4K at last from Shout Factory. Shout Factory didn't release the Blu-ray back in January. I give them shit. So I try to say when they're not doing it, when they're not doing their fucking MO. This is not their MO. It got released by the studio back in January, and then presumably sometime in the interim, Shout Factory got the 4K rights and they're putting it out. I think this one is a more interesting release because this is a bit of a return to prominence for Paul Giamatti, the main actor, the star of this film. He's reunited with director Alexander Payne, who made his standout film Sideways, one of the films that Paul Giamatti is best known for even today is Sideways. I think that was like 05-ish when Sideways came out. And so this film reunites him with that director. So you can, if you like Sideways, and you haven't seen Holdovers yet, then you can imagine that this film might be something that you like. I really feels like back in the day, like the mid-aughts, those were like the days for Giamatti, right? Like every movie he was in, every performance he did, he got positive attention. And it was like, I don't know, somewhere around 10 years ago or so, like the early teens, he kept working, right? Like you kept seeing him and stuff, but it wasn't like, oh, fuck, like Paul Giamatti is making Sideways. He got nominated for another Academy Award or whatever. It seems weird because he's no stranger to critical acclaim for his performances, particularly in the early days. But I feel like the last 10 years or so, like he's been working, he's been doing things, of course, but it's been like more quiet, a little bit less fanfare. So this feels like he's returning to the limelight a little bit, at least the critical limelight, a little bit with this film, with The Holdovers. So this one feels like it's going to be worth checking out. It's a Christmas movie, and I am a sucker for well done, like good Christmas movies. I'm not watching fucking Hallmark. Don't worry about it. I don't watch any Hallmark movies. The Christmas Shoes is the worst fucking movie ever made. Fuck off with the Christmas Shoes. But Wallace and Gromit collection is coming to a 4K Blu-ray combo pack. This is how you release an entire series on disc, y'all. Put it on a fucking disc that can actually hold a lot of episodes. But I got nothing for Wallace and Gromit. I'm not a big Wallace and Gromit dude. So, let me know. Are you going to buy this one? Are you like a big Wallace and Gromit dude, lady? Neither. All of the above, none of the above, whatever you are, let me know if you're a Wallace and Gromit person. It's really what I'm getting at. Post-op or whatever, you feel free to keep that to yourself. I just want to know about Wallace and Gromit, right? Far and Away is coming to 4K. Far and Away. This is a film I haven't thought about in a long time, but here we go. Shout Factory is putting out another Ron Howard movie. It's fantastic. They did a few others in November, so it feels kind of like maybe this is the Ron Howard factory, guys. And I don't know what my beef is with Ron Howard. I don't feel like I have a legitimate like beef with Ron Howard on paper. I feel like all my whole beef with him is completely, it's like subtle. I remember seeing shit Far and Away in the theaters, man. That's how old I am. I saw the shit in the theaters. Of course, I was young. I don't remember it like super well. I mean, the movie was released in 1992 and all, but like I was old enough to drag to the theaters to see Far and Away. Fucking Ron Howard. I don't know what it is about Ron Howard. He just feels like great value Steven Spielberg, right? Like I don't know. He wants to make the same kind of like heartwarming sort of like Americana stories, but like I don't know. I just can't give a fuck about a Ron Howard movie. I don't know why. I can't find it within me to get excited about a Ron Howard film. We got another Golden Harvest box set coming up in December. This one's interesting. This is Golden Harvest Volume 2, subtitle Shining Stars. This is coming to Blu-ray, of course, just like the first Golden Harvest box was a Blu-ray. This is a Blu-ray box set. Last month we got the Sexy Shockers. They called them like the Shocker collection or whatever. And so this year's like, or this month is the Shining Stars set, which honestly, I look at this set and it feels like a grab bag of movies from some of the bigger names, the more recognizable globally in the West, some of the more recognizable names of Hong Kong martial arts films. So we're getting 2 Jet Li movies in this collection. Pretty much everybody, even here in the United States, knows who Jet Li is. Maybe my 5-year-old probably doesn't know who Jet Li is, but even still, she will at some point, I promise you. That motherfucker's going to watch My Father as a Hero because that's going to be the name of her autobiography. Motherfucker, her father's a fucking hero. Went onto YouTube and cussed about Shout Factory movies. Oh, fucking. Psh. There's an Angela Mao movie with early Sammo Hung, so we kind of recognize some of those names. Jimmy Wang Yu. There's even an early Chuck Norris film, as wild as that is. He plays the bad guy again. There's an early Chuck Norris film. One of the Brandon Lee, God, what is the Brandon Lee one? It's like Streets of Rage or Legacy of Rage is the Brandon Lee movie. So it's a little bit of like everything. Like I don't know how Jimmy Wang Yu has anything to do with Brandon Lee. The movies are separated by like, I don't know, 17 years or something like that. Maybe almost 20 years. And besides the fact that Golden Harvest was the distributor, the production company, and possibly distributor for both these films, that's like really the only connection there. So that's why it feels kind of like a grab bag. It feels a little bit disjointed, this particular collection, and that there's not really a thematic through line other than like, hey, we got a Chuck Norris film and we got a Brandon Lee film and we got these 2 Jet Li movies. It's like, what are we going to do with these? The Jet Lis we could probably release by themselves, but like, I don't know if anybody's going to buy this early Chuck Norris film. Maybe we just smash them all together and it like combined, they create enough like star power and value that people will buy it because it's like, I wouldn't buy the early Chuck Norris movie by itself, but I'm also getting Legacy of Rage and a couple of Jet Li movies. So I don't know, maybe I'll buy it. And it might work. It might work. I'm saying I might buy this set. That's me saying I might go spend money on this. But again, the earliest film in this set is 1973. The most recent one is from 1998. So there's like there's a huge chasm, and there's not really like a good through line. I mean, when Criterion releases a set of Jackie Chan films, at least those are all fairly early Jackie Chan films. There's a through line. They all star Jackie Chan. They're all kind of early career Jackie Chan, kind of formative films before he really became like the Rumble in the Bronx, Police Story 3 Jackie Chan. This was kind of more before he had his own. There's a through line there, right? Grouping these films together thematically kind of makes sense. With this set, I don't know. It dampens my excitement a little bit for getting something like the early Chuck Norris film. I would be kind of excited about that. And honestly, I'd buy it on Blu-ray standalone for like $15. On the other hand, to play devil's advocate, each of the films in this set, there's a shitload of new special features. There's something like 12 hours of content in this box. I think it's like $85 for the box, but I don't know, it's like 6 movies, 12 hours, 12 and a half, almost 13 hours of content. So it's like, it's money well spent, at least if you're going to watch everything and you're going to watch all the special features, like, this is going to keep you entertained for a while. Like, so I don't know. I want to get all the Jet Li movies too. So it's really just kind of a shame to me that I have to buy a box set. I'd really like to have them stand alone on my shelf and have like the Jet Li, you know, without having to import. I mean, I'll just import the 88 films once those are good. Riddick is coming to 4K. I guess Shout found out the one movie that I could give a shit less about than a Ron Howard film is a Riddick film. And they were like doubling down on, let's release some movies he couldn't give a shit about. This film is not to be confused with The Chronicles of Riddick, because I do that routinely. I routinely forget that they made a sequel to The Chronicles of Riddick and just called it Riddick. I forget that. It's easy to forget. And I will say that I object, even when Sylvester Stallone does it, when he makes like Rambo First Blood, okay, let's not forget, it wasn't Rambo until Rambo 2 came out. And they're like, oh yeah, let's just call it Rambo instead of First Blood. First Blood, Rambo, Rambo 3. Then he goes and makes John Rambo or whatever. He did the same thing with Rocky, right? Rocky 1 through 5. And then, hey, 20 years later, I want to make a sequel. I could call it Rocky 6, or let's just call it Rocky Balboa and not put a number on it. And it'll just be confusing as fuck for future generations. Like, is this the prequel? Is it a sequel? Is it where does it fall in the fuck appending a number to a sequel, right? You can't just call it Chronicles of Riddick 2, which Chronicles of Riddick was already a sequel to the only good film in that series, which is Pitch Black. Why not call it Pitch Black 2 and Pitch Black 3, motherfuckers? What happened to fucking taking a series of fucking related movies, you know, a movie, a sequel of a sequel, a sequel of a sequel, and just calling it part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It worked in the 80s for Friday the 13th. It worked in the 80s for Halloween. It worked in the 80s for A Nightmare on Elm Street. And shit didn't get fucked up with Halloween until they started putting bullshit, you know, Curse of Michael Myers. They dropped the 6 and just call it Curse of Michael Myers. H2O, which is stupid. That movie didn't have any fucking water in it at all. H2O, where's the fucking water? There's no fucking water. There's not a drop of fucking water in that movie. Sons of bitches. That's false advertising. And then Resurrection. But where's Resurrection fallen to the motherfucker? He already came back from life like 4 fucking times. Every fucking Halloween movie is about this cocksucker coming back from a fucking near certain death. Anyway, fucking Riddick, stupid movie. Chronicles of Riddick, well, I shouldn't say stupid movie. I've never seen it. Looks like a stupid movie, and I don't give a fuck about it. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm going to wash my hands and walk away from it. But quit fucking naming your fucking movies in a confusing way. Don't make a movie called Chronicles of Riddick and then make a movie called Riddick and expect me to fucking know which one comes first and second, okay? Fucking come up with something. If you want to have a subtitle, fine. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Child, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. Call it whatever the fuck you want to call it, but at least give me the fucking title of the series, what number that is in the fucking series sequentially, in release order, and then give me the fucking subtitle. Pitch Black 2, Chronicles of Riddick. How fucking difficult is that? Huh? Pitch Black 3, Riddick. It's stupid as fuck because it's practically the same fucking name as the previous movie. It's fucking, these people get paid millions of dollars for their creativity. Fucking assholes. Anyway, I'm not buying it. The next one, though, I'm more excited about. Aguirre, The Wrath of God. Finally, Shout is releasing something that I'm really fucking actually kind of stoked in my pants about. I love Werner Herzog. I do, unabashedly and unapologetically love Werner Herzog. I could listen to him talk for hours. I will buy any fucking disc that he does a commentary on, even if he has nothing to do with the movie. If I get to listen to him talk about that fucking movie for 2 hours, I would buy a fucking Ron Howard movie if Werner Herzog did the fucking commentary. I would buy Chronicles of Riddick twice if Werner Herzog did 2 different commentaries on it. I don't give a shit. I will listen to Werner Herzog talk. I love the shit he says. He says wild shit, and I love his fucking accent. Period, zero, the end. It's amazing. And I'm glad to see more of his work come into 4K. It feels like this is kind of the first, but I feel like with this, maybe the floodgates shall open. Maybe we'll see some Enigma of Caspar Hauser. I think the very likely next release is going to be a 4K of his Nosferatu. I'm kind of surprised they didn't get one out in time for October, for Halloween, but Scream Factory did release Werner Herzog's Nosferatu on Blu-ray some years back, so you know they're going to be doing the 4K of Nosferatu, and I'm here for that. I better get a slipcover. If they do a steelbook, I'm going to be so fucking hard that day. The day they give me a Werner Herzog Nosferatu, because I have the BFI steelbook, but when they give me a, you should see the back of that fucking steelbook too. By the way, it's fucking. I had to buy the steelbook because I love Werner Herzog and I love Nosferatu, but the back of the steelbook, it's like, what were you guys even fucking thinking? What were you even fucking thinking? Anyway, if Scream Factory gives us a steelbook of Nosferatu, Werner Herzog, with a fucking Werner Herzog commentary, I will suck their dicks. I'll never say a bad thing about Scream Factory again, even if I think it. The only bad thing that I have to say about Aguirre, The Wrath of God, is listening to all of the other physical media YouTubers absolutely butcher the pronunciation. I know it's a pedantic complaint. It is pedantic of me to come on here and complain about somebody else not saying the word Aguirre right, because it's not like a commonly used English word, right? That they're mispronouncing. And Lord knows I've probably mispronounced some stuff too. At any rate, it takes about 3 minutes to find a video on YouTube of Werner Herzog, the director himself, saying the name of this movie, Aguirre, The Wrath of God. You can find it coming out of his mouth. So when you hear him say it, just do your best to say it like him, and you got it. 3 minutes, and you could sound like you halfway know what the fuck you're talking about in your videos. So that's all I'm saying is like familiarize yourself with Werner Herzog. Here I am bitching about people pronouncing shit wrong, and I'm like, familiarize it. And also, how bad did I say edited earlier? I fucked edited up earlier. I mean, I had to go upstairs and splash my face with water during one of the cuts. I had to fucking, I had to put some drops in my eyes. I had to sober up. I had 2 cups of coffee, and now I can say edited again. But at any rate, for a minute there, I couldn't. So I don't know. Maybe I take it all back. Say Aguirre however you want to. But you guys should buy this movie, you fucking dorks. Expand your horizons. Buy this fucking movie. Watch and love Werner Herzog. Okay, you need to learn it, live it, and love it. Okay, it's Werner Herzog. They can't all be low budget '80s B movie slashers, y'all. Rock and Roll High School is getting its inevitable 4K upgrade. This one features the Ramones, which is kind of cool, Those guys were cool even when they're alive, but now that they're all dead, they're like even double cool. I like the Ramones, and I always have. I can say without lying, without any hesitation, without lying to you guys, that I have liked the Ramones for 30 years. And if you go back much further than that, I wasn't really listening to music, but I was listening to the Ramones. I do believe I have a Ramones CD from 1994, maybe 93, 94. At any rate, like Far and Alive or Far and Away was still up and fresh in my head. So get right with the Ramones. Rock and Roll High School was released by Shout on Blu-ray in 2010. They released the Steelbook 7 or 8 years later. Now, about 5 years after that, we've got the 4K. So they're following their pattern. I've told you guys about this. Every time I talk about Shout, I talk about the pattern. Release a movie on Blu-ray. A few years later, release it on Steelbook. A few years later, release it on 4K. A few years after that, they're going to release it on 4K Steelbook. And they have done that with stuff like Red Dawn, okay? And if you don't think they're going to do it with Rock and Roll High School, get your fucking head checked, because they are going to do it. That's how they generate revenue. That is how the Shout and Scream Factory generate revenue. They released Return of the Living Dead on Blu-ray. There's probably a Blu-ray Steelbook out there somewhere. They released Return of the Living Dead on 4K, I don't know, like a year ago. And then just a couple of months ago, it's sitting right over there. I'm looking at it. It's over there on my shelf. It's the Steelbook, 4K Steelbook. So all I'm saying is it's going to happen. Okay. That's their method. That's their playbook. Here's another really interesting one to put right upside of Aguirre, as like, this is something that I would recommend that you buy. The Gift in 4K. It's coming to 4K. And this is a very interesting film, in my opinion. This one is not only new to Shout Factory, but it's new to HD, period. This film looks like it has never had a U.S. domestic Blu-ray release. So it's been locked to DVD for many, many years. And so I like the idea that some of these films, as I mentioned earlier, it's perfectly legitimate and valid to buy a DVD when no higher resolution copy is available. But at least for me, for my money, if there's a DVD and a Blu-ray available, I'm going to opt for the Blu-ray in almost every scenario, unless the Blu-ray is several $100s because it's out of print and the DVD is readily available for $12. And that's about the only case I'll ever choose a DVD over a higher resolution version or format. So it's cool that The Gift is getting its first HD release into 4K, hoping it looks good. Um, but the real selling point for this movie, in my opinion, is the talent that's involved. It's directed by Sam Raimi, and it only gets better from there. All right. Imagine me saying that, but wait, there's more. It gets better. Directed by Sam Raimi, it was written by Billy Bob the Fuck Thornton. Bad Santa himself wrote this shit based on his own mother's psychic experiences. I love the idea of Billy Bob Thornton writing a movie. Okay, you got me. But then the idea of him writing a movie based on his own mother's, like my mom was a psychic and she had this fucked up stir of echoes shit going on, and boom, I'm gonna write about her life, is based on a true-ish story, whether or not you believe in her experiences, but from her subjective point of view, it's based on a true story. Dude, I'm all over that. Honestly, you had me at directed by Sam Raimi, but if you want to throw in this batshit loco twist that is based on Billy Bob Thornton's mother's life, fuck yes, I'm on board for that in 4K with no fucking pants on. Okay, bring the lube and the tissues because it's going down. Okay, but wait, there's more. Kate Blanchett is in this bitch. A young, like 25 years ago, circa 2000, Kate Blanchett. Perfection. Okay, Keanu Reeves is in this bitch. Hilary Swank is in this bitch. Have you seen her fucking hair? Look at her fucking hair in this movie. Look at that shit. That is a mullet on fucking steroids. J.K. Simmons is in this bitch. Greg Kinnear is in this bitch. Giovanni Ribisi is in this bitch. Plus, Katie Holmes naked in this bitch, just running around with a top off and shit. You got to get this movie, dog. I'm telling you. Good stuff. Plus, there's a shitload of special features, many of which are new to this release. So, look, I think this movie is all value right here. This is the kind of value I'm talking about. And when Shout lets me down, it's because they're not bringing this level of value. This movie is paranormal, and it's set in my home state of Georgia. So I am going to run, not walk, to go buy this motherfucker in December. All right. This should go on your Christmas list. Let's put it that way. Here's another one that should go on your Christmas list. The Faculty is coming to 4K. This one's also new to Scream Factory. The Blu-rays were previously released by Paramount and Lionsgate, most recently in 2020. So this is a film that's been pretty popular since it was released in 98. It's pretty much always been in print, pretty much always been an easy one to get your hands on, but it is new to 4K. This is going to be the first 4K release of The Faculty, and I'm crossing my fingers that it looks really good because this is another one that I'm kind of looking forward to giving a spin again. It's not a film that I have seen in a long time. It's been many, many years since I have seen this film. And there's a bit of nostalgia for me here with this film because 98, I mean, I'm squarely in high school. I'm just learning how to drive. I'm just now getting the driver's license, like right around that era, 98, 99. Like these were the years that I was really kind of coming up into my own. I had a little bit of money from a part-time job. I had a car. I was able to go see the movies that I wanted to see, me and my buddies, or take a date and we'd go see some movies. This was a time of my life that I was really opening my horizons up to like new cinema, contemporary cinema, the stuff that was like being released. The pop stuff of the mid to late 90s really kind of hits this very specific nostalgic lane for me. Music too of that era, the popular stuff of that era really kind of brings me back because it's what I would have heard playing on the radio as I drove to the theater to go see The Faculty. So this is a film directed by Robert Rodriguez, if you forgot about it. But I also feel like I get the Mandela effect really bad whenever I see Robert Rodriguez's name because I swear to Christ, we used to call him Roberto Rodriguez from like 92 to at least 2007. There was an O at the end of that motherfucking name, Roberto Rodriguez. He wasn't Robert Anthony Rodriguez. That motherfucker was Roberto Antonio Rodriguez for the longest fucking time, at least for the duration of the 90s. But I can't find a single movie poster or DVD cover with Roberto printed on it. Like, I know we called that motherfucker, like, everybody called him Roberto. Like, fucking Entertainment Tonight called him Roberto. It wasn't just me. It's a fucking Mandela effect. It's like the fucking Fruit of the Loom cornucopia shit. I mean, anyway, this is The Faculty, great representation of later 90s cinema. It certainly owes its existence to Scream, the first Scream. It's got stars like pre-Frodo Elijah Wood in it, Josh Hartnett, Salma Hayek, Jordana Brewster, motherfucking Ursha. Ursha in this bitch, like way before Ludacris was yelling out Ursha. Apparently, this film was written many years earlier, like 1990. It was shopped around in those early 90s, but it wasn't until the success of the first Scream that Harvey Weinstein scrambled to get this film into production. I don't even think he put his dick away first. He was just like, we gotta fucking greenlight this shit. This film is also notable from a film historical perspective for its relation to the Invasion of the Body Snatchers films. While not being an official remake, it's not an official like Invasion of the Body Snatchers film. It was very much inspired by that film, like knowingly inspired by that film, and it's relevant enough to the Invasion of the Body Snatchers war of films that if you are a film professor teaching a class about Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you have to include the faculty on your syllabus. So I think this is a definite must buy for you motherfuckers. Definitely put this one in your stocking as well on Christmas, because this is going to be a fun one to watch over the holidays when you got a few days off, man. Fucking crack a beer and watch the faculty. That is what I'm going to be doing on fucking like December the 30th or some shit. I'll be hanging out with the fam. My brothers will be around. And I'll say, let's fucking watch the faculty, dog. Let's fucking bring it back to 1998. And my bros will be like, fuck yeah. My dad will be like, I've never heard of that movie. And we're just going to fucking watch it. It'll be good. Also coming to 4K in an inevitable 4K upgrade is Silent Night, Deadly Night. And I almost bought this one last December. They almost got me last December for some holiday viewing. I was going, let's watch this like, right around Christmas time. Let's watch it like Christmas Eve. I'm gonna fucking put this on while I'm wrapping presents. Fuck y'all. But I held out for the 4K, and here it is. And impatient cocksuckers out there went and bought the Blu-ray a year or two ago, and now they're kicking themselves because now they got to pay to upgrade this motherfucker. Never did I think I would be grateful for my Catholic delay of gratification ability, but here I am, and I'm glad I waited a year, right? Everybody knows this movie. I'm not going to say anything new about Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's been out there. People have been watching this film. I feel like maybe, 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't as talked about. I feel like maybe in more recent years, people have been kind of rediscovering some of these older like Christmas themed horror films, Black Christmas and stuff, have been kind of making a comeback a little bit. But, definitely if you don't own it, worth upgrading to the 4K. I will complain about one thing, and it is, look at this. Look at this motherfucker. That looks like a paperback that I would have found when we cleaned out my aunt's trailer after she died in 2014. It would be dog-eared. It would smell like cigarettes and fried dough. And she would have bought it used for 10 cents. And that's my problem. What's the difference here? Scream Factory wants $30 fucking dollars for this. $30 fucking dollars for this. $30 fucking dollars for a mass market paperback. I love the idea of novelizations of movies. That's probably why this offends me so much. I love the aesthetic of making it look like a dime store novel, like something that would have been kicking around some used bookstore for the last 35 years. I love that. I love that idea. Like the pages are going to be dog-eared and yellowed a little bit. The aesthetic is great. And I love how retro this thing kind of looks to me to tie into a movie that came out in 1984. But fucking $30, guys. Come on. $30 fucking dollars. It's outlandish, it's offensive, and it might even be racist. I don't know yet. I'm going to call my black friend and find out. But that might even be racist, charging $30 for that shit. So go fuck yourselves on that one, Scream Factory. Also, they're only giving us the theatrical version of this film on 4K. The director's cut is staying on the Blu-ray disc. So that's also kind of bullshit. Like, it's borderline false advertising. Put both versions on 4K, you cheap bastards. Don't give me two versions of the movie, but only one of them's on 4K, and it's the theatrical version, not even the director's cut. At least give me the director's intended vision. If you only can give me one, give me the director's intended vision on 4K, because that's the one that I'm most likely to watch and revisit. Because I didn't go see this movie in the theaters in 1984 because I was 3 the fuck years old in 1984. So guess who didn't go see this movie in the theaters? I got no fucking nostalgic nothing to do with the original version. Give me the director's cut in 4K or go fuck yourselves. In this case, go fuck yourselves. Anyway, that is Shout and Scream Factory's releases for December. I'm sorry the video was so long, but really I blame them for releasing so much stuff, as well as for asking $30 for a fucking paperback. They goaded me into this shit. Would you pay $30 for a paperback that doesn't even have pictures of titties in it? Would you? Let me know down below if you would pay $30 for that piece of shit. No pictures of boobies in it whatsoever. I don't know proof. I don't know proof. I'm gonna go call my black friend and figure out if it's racist or not too. In the meantime, I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna come back in a minute and talk about some vinegar syndrome shit. So peace, motherfuckers.